Hello and welcome back to the Atlas Solutions podcast. My name's Brian. He's Chad, and today we have another security topic for you guys. Hey, Chad, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you, Brian?
Doing great.
Today, we're going to dive back into cybersecurity. So we just were talking about how we could just talk about this stuff forever. It's not that we enjoy cybersecurity. We wish we didn't have to do it at all, but it is the nature of working with computers. So there's a saying in the IT world and just in general that security and convenience just don't play well. So if you have something that's very secure, it's probably not going to be very convenient. So to give you an example, if you have a server that does not touch the internet, it is not connected to anything that is connected to the internet, that's about as secure as it's going to be because nothing can get in, but also nothing can get out. So you lose the convenience of being able to access that server, especially remotely. So today we're going to focus in on two-factor authentication, specifically app-based two-factor authentication. The reason I talk about convenience is this topic, even for IT guys, is a little bit heavy. It's hard to figure out and what app should I use and how do I do this, and it's just confusing. So we want to start out by just making that disclaimer, but also we want to help you realize it's not that bad and it's way more secure. So just to start, Brian, what is two-factor authentication?
So the idea behind two-factor is something so there's different parts of security. You can have something you know, something you have, who you are, like a physical thing. So there's different factors. You can have 3 and 4 if you really get into it. When you get into like government stuff, that happens sometimes. So with the two-factor, we're talking about your identity. So it's going to be something you know, typically in a password, and something you have, like an authenticator device. In the past, it would have been like a USB key or something you would have to plug into a computer. But now they're getting a little more sophisticated. So there's apps that either provide the key for you or automatically kind of talk. So you're providing a second factor. If you've probably seen movies where you have to walk up and look in the little eye hole thing. It's kind of that idea, that's where we are, technology wise.
Absolutely. Well, and I want to kind of simplify even something that we've already talked about, which is there's two-factor and then there's MFA, which means multi-factor authentication. So two-factor authentication, that just means there's two factors. MFA, as you mentioned, that might be several. It might be a certificate, a password, and a key, or it might be a retina scan and a password and a passphrase or what have you. So, but to narrow it down, we want to talk about application-based two-factor authentication. So what that means is that you're going to have, to use an example, the Microsoft Authenticator App. It's a little app you get on your iPhone. It's a little blue shield. You're going to log into that app with your Office 365 credentials. Google Authenticator also has a very similar app. And it's going to be a little confusing in the beginning. You're going to just open the app and, well, what do I do with it? Well, when you go to an account, whether it be your Google account, or your 365 account, or your Twitter account, or any account that supports MFA, multi-factor authentication, it's going to ask you to add that new account. So you have to verify it at least once with your password, and then typically there will be a QR code you scan or a one-time security key that's a really long key that you have to enter to even get it configured. Now, once it's configured, you can open the app and just click allow basically when you log in. So to give an example, I'm on a new computer. I'm logging into the browser for the first time. I put my password in. Then it's going to pause and say, oh, you need to go to your Authenticator app and allow that. So you've already put the first factor in. Now you're going to go to the second factor and click allow, or you're going to copy and paste that two-factor code into that browser. So, the best thing to really do is just try it. Try one account and make sure you're comfortable with it and it works. If you're not technically savvy, feel free to reach out to us. We'll guide you through it and help you. One of the pieces of software that we offer as a service at Atlas is a password manager. So if you're a managed service client, we'll set you up with a password manager. That's going to allow you to, first and foremost, complicate your password. So if you do have those two factors, the first factor, your password, if it's easy to guess, or if it's just, password 123, that's going to get guessed super quick. And then you're going to be getting texts or whatever from your second factor. So we're going to have you set up in a password manager where you can randomize really long passwords. And the idea is not that you type that password in, but that you copy and paste the password. So it's a lot more secure just from the get-go. I wanted to point out another thing about app-based two-factor authentication, which is what most companies are kind of pushing towards, which is the fact that you can set your cell phone as a second factor and you get a text. But there's a new phenomenon going around called SIM hacking, where people basically fake your cell phone number and get your two-factor code. Or, as we talked about on the podcast last week, somebody may phish you and ask for your two-factor code. So they've already got your password and they call you and say, hey, we're going to send you a code. Just let us have that code and we'll make sure your money gets transferred to the right place. Somebody's trying to hack you, and then you give the code away and now you're lost. So, we really want to make sure that everybody understands how this stuff works. I know it's confusing. It's very difficult, even just with the app selections. You've got Google Authenticator, you've got IT Glue, you've got MyGlue, you've got 1Password, you've got all these different places where they might be. If it's confusing, reach out. We'll help you find one nice location where everything's safe and secure. You can keep those multi-factor codes and all that. So, Brian, I got this question like 3 times this week, and I want to see your opinion. So okay. I've had a couple people say, well, what about the security of the password manager? What if my password manager gets hacked? So what do you think about that? Well, can you speak to that for a second?
That's going to be really difficult. Just basically, most of these companies have the security battened down. Now, that is a risk, I suppose. But the encryption on those password manager applications is like government, like super secure encryption. So breaking that would take a very, 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 very long time. And the way the encryption works on those is your master password is the key to those. So you can't hack those without your master password. And that's definitely not something you want to have that's used somewhere else.
For sure.
And that's the thing we could get into is don't reuse passwords on the internet. That's just a quick PSA, right?
Exactly. And to kind of talk about what it looks like to use one. So I use 1Password, for instance. If I log into a new device, I have to have my master password as well as a security key. And that key you have to copy and paste it somewhere. It's not visible anywhere. And then you have to do 2-factor as well. So it's really like 3 different factors. You got to know my username, my password, my security key, and the 2-factor app to get into that, to set it up as a new device. Now, going back to the balance of convenience, that's not very convenient, but you only have to do that once. You're going to set up your device, and that's it. But if someone were trying to hack that application, they'd have to have all that stuff. You'd be getting warnings that somebody's trying to log into your account. You'd get an email saying somebody logged into a new Windows computer or Mac in XYZ location. So nothing's perfect, but I would err on the side of saying it's better to have your password manager full of randomized passwords and 2-factor authentication than to worry about the password manager getting hacked itself. So just keep that in mind. Again, for most of them, you can export the passwords too. So if they get hacked and everything disappears, or if you need to change your password, I'm sure you can do that. One of the other things about password managers that I'm a big fan of is like on 1Password, for example, they have a feature kind of on the side called Watchtower. And Watchtower is going to just look out for you. It's going to tell you, hey, you've reused this same password 75 times. You probably need to change it. Because if they get one, these hackers are going to get all other one accounts that have that particular password and email combination. Also, it's going to be looking out for you. We've even gotten some emails this week from customers where Safari's password manager, the keychain, is looking for compromised websites. So Google Chrome Password Manager does that. Several different options. Most of the decent options that we're talking about for Password Manager and two-factor MFA are going to alert you that, hey, just for example, Twitter was hacked, so their passwords have been compromised. You might want to change that. And those databases come out from time to time where the government, a white hacker, somebody trying to do good, finds out, oh, these people have this database and they've got all these passwords that were almost hacked. And you can see in plain text that they have your password. So I've seen some of these reports that have come out again, and you can just type in your email address and see what's been listed there. And usually there's kind of two steps. One, they've got it in plain text, so you can just read your password. Or they're one step away where they've got like the key, but they just need to, decipher the key, and then they'll have the password. So, all that to say, like I said from the beginning, this can get complicated quick, but it is the better way. It's the more secure way to digitally exist. So if you have questions, let us know. We'd be happy to try to help walk you through that or set you up with our password manager if you're one of our clients. So reach out to us, atlascarolina.com. Remember, we're doing a giveaway for the AirTag. We're trying to give the AirTag away to anybody who follows one of our social media accounts and tags 2 friends in the giveaway. If you're an existing customer, also jump on to the Atlas Apple consultant page and leave us a great review, and we'll also enter your name in for the drawing. So thanks for following everything. We love to hear back from you on the podcast or any of the social media outlets. So comment, like, and subscribe, and let us know what you think, and we will see you next time.